Hello ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk about my EVE Online love-hate relationship. Oh my god, what the hell is it with this game? And this is unique to EVE Online as well, it's so crazy. So I keep coming back almost every year to play EVE Online, and I never ever manage to play it for more than maybe 3 or 4 days. I come in, I drop a month's subscription on the game, and then I never play it. Oh, well, I do play it, but I sort of... I love the idea of wanting to play it, but then I hate the fact of actually trying to play the game, and it just falls apart rapidly, and it's crazy. Now, I think this is unique to EVE Online. This is like a specific effect with EVE Online. It is crazy. Now, I want to go into some detail on the reasons why I think this is the case. You know, why do I keep leaving? So we'll start off with that first. So I come to EVE Online. Well, why do I keep leaving EVE Online? Well, I've got no idea what to do. Now, this is kind of a positive and negative. The game is a massive sandbox world, so you do what the hell you like, but without any kind of direction early on, it's kind of difficult to sort of know what you need to be doing. Now, what I will say is, I've been playing EVE Online this week. Now, we actually did the live stream this week as well, and this is the most into EVE Online I've ever managed to get. Yeah, I've got a cruiser now. I mean, before I only ever had a frigate and that was it. Now I've got a cruiser. The tutorials are a lot better. Even like simple things like it actually shows you on the UI where you need to be clicking, instead of having to read minuscule text, which is very difficult to read even if you do turn up the font to size 13. It is a better tutorial system, so that does ease your way into the game. And it does say, look, would you like to do military, would you like to do industrial, science, and all the different kinds of career paths you can go down in EVE. So that was a little bit better. But in the past, yeah, I had no idea what to do. Now, another thing is, I want to play EVE. I'd love to play EVE, but I don't know anybody who actually plays EVE Online. Now, in the past when I've come to EVE Online and tried to get into the game, I never had the unit loss community that I've got now. A fairly big fan base, so a lot of people can actually help me out and say, hey Stylosa, I can help you do this, I can help you do that. When we did a live stream, this was amazing because I had a lot of people in the chat actually giving me answers to questions. I literally had no idea what the answer was. I didn't know how to get around that. I didn't know how to jump here. I didn't know how to do this or how to do that. And they really helped me. Without that support, I really would have fell over, even with the enhanced tutorial. Now, let's look at the average player for a moment, because I'm guessing this happens to loads of people where you've got this love-hate relationship. They want to get into EVE, but they don't have this readily available resource of players where they can say, look, give me the info, and they give them the info. I've kind of got that now, so this is sort of making my step into EVE a little bit easier. The next thing is the learning cliff. There is not a learning curve in EVE, it is a cliff. This is possibly the most complicated game there is. It is massively complicated, and this puts loads and loads and loads of people off straight away before they even get into the game. You've got the thing of, oh, EVE's just a spreadsheet simulator. It's not a spreadsheet simulator, it's far from that. Even I was guilty of saying that in the past. So, why do I keep coming back then if I'm frightened of the steep learning cliff? I think it's because it's almost like, have I matured enough? Can I now tackle EVE Online? Let's find out. Okay, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm just going to leave it. And then I come back the next year, and then I come back the next year. It's almost like a crazy ritual that I think I might have cracked now. Well, hopefully I have, good lord. The other thing is, I'm kind of scared of the community. Now, I'm not scared of many things in this world, but the EVE Online community, it's frightening to me. It's a very notorious community for shady, dirty, underhand tactics. Somebody may pretend that they're helping you out, and in fact they just are attempting to lead you into an area where they can kill you and take everything you own, which is absolutely crushingly bad. So this kind of does put me off actually wanting to get involved in the community. I know that's kind of strange, that's kind of a positive and a negative, but I'm being honest, that kind of does put me off. I hate getting had over. I don't want anybody to con me out of anything. That would send me crazy. And I suppose the other thing is the UI. Now, the UI is really, really bad for a new player. I'm guessing it's kind of okay for people who have played EVE for years on end, but for new players, oh my god, it's kind of like a victim of its own design, of its own like necessities in design. It needs to have loads of information on it. It's a very complicated UI. There's, you know, loads of market information, fitting, insurance. There's loads of stuff. You can literally have your screen full of windows. So it needs to be able to accommodate that, but that obviously makes it complex to look at and kind of complex to navigate. So to the new player, even to me now, I've been playing EVE for about a week now, I get lost. I don't know what the hell I'm looking for. I don't know how to properly navigate the map, for example, and all kinds of stuff. And often there's usually shortcut ways of doing things in Eve. So I was actually advised not to use the autopilot, because using autopilot, it jumps me towards a gate, and then I actually have to travel towards it, and then it activates the gate. If I do it using the overview and walk to within 0 distance of the actual gates, because they highlight in yellow, I did not know that, then I will be able to complete my journey faster instead of using the autopilot and stuff like that. So things like that and little shortcuts, they're not readily apparent to the new player. They are to the veteran. And unless you've got an army of veterans telling you what to do, then it's very, very, very difficult to get into that. So the UI is kind of a major gripe I've got with Eve. I can see why it has to be like that, but I also think they should really work on trying to make it a bit more inviting to the new player, because that would increase the user base, surely. The other thing is, there's no specific ship tutorial, so you don't actually know what you want to be aiming for. Now this is like forced me, even with my fan base, quite a few people are actually avid EVE Online players, so they can give me information. I've spent ages reading the internet, looking at the EVE wiki, trying to work out what ship I actually want. What do I need to be aiming for? What do I want to do? And that's kind of like, is that a failure in design where you are forced to actually look outside of the game for information on the game? Should it not present that information to you in the game and say, here you go player, a cruiser's good for this cruise is good for that, this is good for that? Now, okay, it kind of does if you inspect each item, each ship even, as you look at it on the marketplace, for example. But again, there's that many, you'd have to go through it, and it would just, it's not very well done, and I think that could be a little bit better. So there's some of the reasons why I think I kept leaving EVE Online. Now let's talk about the reasons why I kept coming back. Now this is crazy, this is just mad. So the whole idea of EVE Online, it totally blows my mind. This whole universe of anything goes, there's no rules, you can do what you like, you're in space, you're effectively the captain of a massive ship and all this stuff. Mind-blowing, insane. It's like, it's up there with like one of the most ideal game ideas, in my opinion, that I could ever, think of and want to play. And I think that's the same for a lot of people. I think a lot of the crazy tales and stories that you get with EVE Online, of the massive multi-trillion ISK thefts and the crazy combat that goes on and all the shady corporation tactics. The backstory of EVE Online, the player-generated stuff, seems to be driving the will of most people to actually come back and try EVE Online. It's almost like they want a part of that, but they've got no idea how to actually replicate that in the game. I always wanted to be a space pirate. Now, this goes without saying, everybody wants to be a space pirate. I've got visions of hiding in an asteroid belt and then waiting for some sort of mining frigate to come by, jump out and disable him and hold him to ransom. That's just crazy, and that's the sort of stuff I want to be doing. So again, that's another reason why I would come back to EVE Online. Now the risk versus reward is absolutely off the scale. I mean, it's insane. If you lose your ship, you lose your ship. You lose quite a lot of cash. You lose all the fittings. You could effectively lose your clone. There's a practice called getting podded, I believe, where you get killed in your little escape pod thing, which is bad because then you lose your clone and then you have to get your clone back. It's bad. It's the most unforgiving game for dying. If you die, you lose everything you had at that time on that ship, in its cargo bays, all the weapons and everything. The ship explodes and is dead. That is a big thing for me. I really like games with high risk versus reward. You know that if you take a big risk, you might be able to get a massive reward, but you also know that could go not in your favour and you could lose your ship, and that could put you back. In terms of EVE, it could put you back quite some time, depending on what you lose. And also, it looks so fucking pretty. It looks so nice. I know it's basic. I know it's just a skybox with like nebulas and whatever wrapped around it, and then you've got the models of the space station, planets, and then the ships. But the ships look so nice. They are some of the best designed ships I've seen in anything. Any sci-fi series, anything. They look crazy. They look really nice. And, well, everybody likes things that look nice. What can I say? So I think, like, wrapping this up, if the game was easier to grasp for the very new player, I think the game would have more players. And I think that it solely comes down to some sort of revision to the tutorial system to make it clearer, to sort of explain how people need to, there's certain things you need to do to get to a certain point. See, it's kind of difficult for me to even explain it, so I know this is a tall ask. So this is my love-hate relationship with EVE Online, and I think I may have cracked it. I may actually be playing EVE Online for some time to come, because I've got past the initial section. I've had help off some people from the Unit Lost community, and I've worked my way up to, I think it's I forget the name. It's an Amar cruiser. It's not the Mala or the Mallet, or it's the other one. Omen, I think it's the Omen, is it? So I think I may have cracked it. But let me know about your love-hate relationship with EVE Online. Are you in this situation where you keep bouncing back to EVE Online? It's very interesting. I want to hear your tales. Let me know in the comments below, people. Make sure you follow me on Twitter, which is @UnitLostGaming, and subscribe to the channel. And I'll catch you next time, people. Toodaloo.